FTG episode 134. We gonna get right into it. You know what I'm saying?
What's the eternal principle?
Brahman.
Which is?
Well, we call it God, but that personifies it.
What's going on, party people? It's been too damn long. Yeah, November, I think, was the last epi. So, I just put it on. I put it on pause. I put it on pause for a little bit. I got a new job running a treatment center, so it's been 6 days a week type thing. But it's been good, man. It's been good. Life shows up. It drops things in your lap. It calls you to leave what has been known. And if you have the courage just to say yes again and again and again, God gets to have fun with your life. Yeah, man, that's what's been happening, That's what's been happening. So it's been an adventure. It's been a crazy, I wouldn't say crazy. It's just been a wild 5 months or so. Got out of a relationship recently. So been just doing that, man. That was tough. And working my ass off 6 days a week, crazy responsibilities. Only day off is Sunday. But I've been working with, I asked this guy to guide me, sponsor me, be the teacher, whatever you want to call it. And we've been meeting. And he told me this definition, right? He goes, do you know what an expander is? No, I never heard that before in my life. And I'm going to mess up the definition, but an expander is somebody who gets you to realize that the things that you want in your life are possible, achievable, and coming to you. It is a person that speaks life into you, fans the flame of your authenticity, and reminds you of your greatness. And man, this guy, he has, we're so lucky, dude. Like if you're in recovery or you're on the spiritual path and you have a teacher or a sponsor or a guide or whatever, a mentor. I was telling my friend Reika about, some of the things that we were working on and all that. And she was just like you're so lucky to have a loving relationship with another man like that, where you guys can get real. And, that's not a common thing. There's not a common thing in this world. And a lot of men don't realize that they need that intimacy from other men, and so for years I've been hearing about breathwork. That's all I hear about, breathwork. And I've kind of thrown it off or just not really paid attention to it much. And so George, my mentor, is a breathwork teacher plus Vedic meditation teacher. And so I've had this resistance to this breathwork, and I don't know why. And every person that I've met that's talked about it has always just been it's been the most profound experience of my life. It's incredible. And I'm just yeah, whatever. Yeah, sure, And I just had a lot of resistance to it for some reason. And whenever I have resistance like that, I know that there's something there for me. And so what breathwork does is, and I'm a rookie at this, but I've done one session. All right. So what breathwork does is it moves your life force energy in and through your body through the vehicle of your breath. So it's like this conscious moving of the energy through your body. And trauma is where the body is where all our trauma is stored. The things of the past that have built up into scales in our body, stains on the soul, things that just are imprinted on our cells in fight and flight. And so when things come up in life that touch these wounds, the body can't tell if it is, the body responds to it as though it's continuing to happen. And long story short, man, I did this breathwork session, and it just launched me to a place that I was not expecting to go. And it was just absolutely incredible. So I highly recommend it. I sat with God, and it was so vivid. It was so real. I felt like how he viewed me, his love for me. I laughed, I cried, screamed, and it was just absolutely incredible. I can't even, like, it's almost ineffable. So if you're interested in doing breath work, I want you to check out on Instagram, George Peterson Meditation. George Peterson Meditation. He's the breathwork healer that I'm working with. Just shoot him a DM. Tell him that you heard about the breathwork on FTG, and he'll set up a call with you. And you know, I hope it will be just as beneficial to you as it has been with me. And I ended up reaching out to him seeking guidance because of pain, you know, because of hurt, because of giving away my power without realizing it. And there is, in nature, in the Vedas, it teaches us there is a creation, maintenance, and then destruction in a cyclical fashion. We're born, we're created. Maintenance is throughout our life. Destruction, right? Nature is structured in the same way. And I talk about this all the time, but there is love in this destructor operator. And I've been, you know, just fucking around, you know, just one of my main shortcomings is slowly, silently giving up on myself. And I don't realize I'm doing it until the pain is great enough, obviously. And so I reached out to him, man, and I'm just like, listen, man, I need some help, bro. You know, I'm like going through it. And when you reach out like that, you know, and you're vulnerable, and you're able to say to another human that, hey, I got some stuff going on inside of me. I got some pain going on inside of me, and I'm not sure that I'm navigating it properly, and it doesn't seem to be getting better, you know? And you reach out for help like that, what you're doing is you're kicking the door open, and you're showing life. You're showing your God, hey, man, I'm here for it. I want to grow and develop. I want past this section in life. I'm no longer willing to operate in this fashion. I'm no longer willing to operate in this low vibration, you know? And when you kick the door open and you show life that you are here for this and you're ready, God and nature is going to nod back at you, and then strap in your seatbelt. Because usually that call to adventure is going to come with a lot of pain, a lot of stress getting dismantled from the body. And the same way that stress and trauma were stored in the body, well, they came through our consciousness, left impact, and stored here in the cells, right? And so when you begin to do this work spiritually, you go inward, whatever that may look like for you, and you start to address these pain points, you go straight where the wound is. You go straight where the wound is. You go straight where you do not want to go. That stress, that trauma, those false beliefs have to leave through the same consciousness that it came in as. And that is going to be, or has been, just as much of a uncomfortable process that maybe it was when it was stored. I don't know, but it's a call to leave the normalcy of your pain, of your discontentment, of your discord, and go somewhere else. And the somewhere else is always this opposite of known, right? Opposite of the norm. It is not normal. It is uncharted waters. It is stepping into the unknown, or as the abyss, as Joseph Campbell would say. And it's in the deepest abyss that comes the voice of salvation. The abyss is dark, it's deep, it's scary, and it's quiet enough to hear and listen to your own pain. And you know, I've had anger. I've had a lot of anger. And, you know, we know anger comes from somewhere. It's a secondary emotion, right? And there's been a level of sadness within me that I wasn't, I don't want to say I wasn't truly aware of, but I wasn't aware of the potency of it. And the other night I was cooking some dinner or whatever, and I could just feel how, I was just feeling sad. This was like 2 nights ago. I was just feeling sad, and I'm like, damn, man, like I legitimately think I gotta cry right now. And so I needed to, you know. I went in the room, I got on my knees, I started just, kind of just praying or just getting in that surrendered position, man, and it just broke. It just fucking broke, dude.
You got some kick-ass shit.
Crying is kick-ass shit. All right? It's healing waters. I bawled like a baby. And then I take that sadness and that pain to someone who has transcended it. And I say, I would also like to move through these waters. Please show me the way. And if you're not willing to follow 100% direction, then don't fucking ask for a solution. Most people think that they really want to change. Most of us really think that we want to change, but we don't. We just want relief from the way we're feeling. Because real change, permanent, inexhaustible change, that takes work. And that's not easy, you know? If it was easy, everyone would be completely dialed in spiritually, right? And I'm not trying to say that I'm some spiritual soldier or I work in this and that. All I'm talking about is I have seen time and time again this cyclical process of summer, or like spring, summer, fall, winter, right? Spring, summer, fall, winter. The winter's coming, the winter hurts. It's just a part of the process. And pain in those moments when you're crying alone in your room as a grown man, I think that's where the growth is, right? And I'm so fucking grateful that I am able to feel at such a deep level nowadays. I'm so grateful that I'm able to recognize sadness in my gut and honor it, not run from it, but literally completely surrender to it. Let it come up. Let it be in the body. Let it hurt. Let it close up the throat. And let it come up and pass with no wish to change it, desire to modify it, or want to push it away. No alteration at all. This is what David Hawkins talks about in his book, Letting Go, which is right here, Pathway to Surrender. This is because that's what I never dealt with right, was feeling discomfort at a cellular level, right? It's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, gonna go get high now, right? And it's like, dude, if you want a new life, you can't do that. You gotta stop doing that. And be like, what do you mean I can't drink and drug? We're like, yeah, that's what the whole sobriety thing is about, right? And this corny saying, oh, the good thing about getting sober is your feelings come back, and the bad thing about getting sober is your feelings come back.
Yeah, all right, I'll see you guys there.
You know, it's corny and it's true. It's corny and it's true. You know, why are cliches cliches? Because they're true. Their truth hits like every fabric of life. And so, as corny as cliches are, the reason why they become cliches is because they're fucking true. And so I'm a big cliche guy. I'm a big corny guy. And, you know, it's just, yeah, it's good shit, man. I don't really know what I'm saying right now, but feeling to feel. It's okay to have a little hurt and not run. You know, it's okay to have a little anxiety and keep moving forward. It's okay to be depressed and let someone know that that's where you're at, you know? Because if you don't, you're just doing this fucking thing alone, man. And what I've realized recently in the current role I'm at is, you know, I run a mental health and a substance abuse center. And so there's two different tracks, right? And what I see in all this hurt is most people, before they seek that kind of help, I'll say all people, before they seek that kind of help, are living alone under the excruciating heavy pain of their problems. They're in their head. Most of the time, their family doesn't get it. They're isolated and hurt and alone, and there doesn't seem to be any type of solution. I think 80% of people getting better is just showing up at a place where they're not alone. People understand their problems. They understand their thoughts. They understand their feelings. They're able to communicate how they feel and how they think without ever knowing them. And so you get in a room or you go to, you know, you seek treatment or whatever that is, the healing has already begun because you're no longer alone under the weight of the hurt. And once you see the same hurt you have leave others and you watch them become an overcomer to their adversity, you can't unsee it. And that's the double-edged sword of awareness, is like knowing that there is a way out, knowing that there is a solution. That's tough because, like I said, most people don't really want to change. People just want to talk about their problems. They want you to bite and get wrapped up in the reactivity of their problems. They don't want most of us don't want a simple solution. It's not that we don't, it's just that we're so used to our ego, this false sense of self being so committed, so attached and addicted to our problems that we're used to just complaining and telling this person about our problems. Oh, what are you doing here? Listen to me. I'm going to tell you about how I fucking suck. And oh, person C, yeah, listen to me a little bit. I got all these problems. I just told A and B. Yeah, C, you got D around. I'd love to tell him too. I don't want to hear shit about doing anything about it. But, just drift into the sea of sorrow and chaos with me. And don't give me any practical solution. Don't show me my part. I want it to be other people. I want the word blame to be as situated in me as a body part is. If you want to get better, whatever that is, you have to castrate the word blame from yourself, from your vocabulary. Get it off your fucking tongue because it will bury you. It will bury you. If you blame the world and the people in it, you're going to slowly isolate yourself. Everything's going to collapse on you and it's going to fucking bury you. And it's really good at doing that, But there is beauty in pain, man. It doesn't feel like it when you're hurting, but when you remember and when you ask for help and you start to come out of it, you're like, fuck, what the hell was I doing,
I was checking the specs on the end line for the rotary girder.
Yeah, big sound pad guy. All right. So in the hero's adventure, we'll simplify, there's 3 acts, right? There is departure, initiation, and return, right? Departure, initiation, and return. And we go, well, departure from what? Your current norm. Destiny disrupts your known and your norm. The known and the norm is where we try to sit and hold on to the maintenance operator, right? We maybe just came out of growth. We're heading toward the destruction operator. And I'm like, no, I'm right here. I ain't fucking moving. I don't want to deal with this. I just came off of this. I'm done with this fucking growing shit. Let me just nestle right in here. And I'm just going to get busy and go on autopilot. I'm going to get in this relationship. I'm going to really try to squeeze this addiction, right? And just get as much fucking juice out of it as I can. Whatever makes you go to sleep is your norm and your known. Whatever makes you go to sleep is your norm and your known, right? So in all these, great movies, there's this summon, there's this call upon the hero's life. And the hero's life, this journey is happening on the inside of us always, not some of the times, all of the times. And through pain or grace, that call comes. And it's going to come in whatever fashion it needs to get your attention. And that is the love of life. That is the love of God. That God knows you, knows your name, knows your heart so deeply that it knows what guise to wear to get you to wake the fuck up. What beauty. When I did the breath work, I sat with him and he showed up in a way and he placed my mother in front of me in a way that I needed to experience in order to heal, that I needed these experience. I needed to see it in this fashion in order to have the experience of some level of pain leaving my body. And now listen, whether it's addiction, fear, or a stagnant life, getting used to that and suffering in that, man, I can just stand there for years. you know, in the book Alcoholics Anonymous, there's this line, and he says, the remorse, terror, and hopelessness of the next morning were unforgettable. Quicksand stretched around me in all directions, loneliness and despair. And then he goes, I stayed that way for 2 more years. 2 more years. So tell me how you're not fucking resilient. How is it that we can go through that level of pain in our past life? We get sobered up, we get cleaned up, we get thrust out into the nature of life, and we forget about how fucking badass we are. We forget about the resilience that's embedded into our skin. You know, you can fucking do anything, man. We can do anything. But see, me, I got a good forgetter. And when I get stagnant and when I start sleepwalking, that's when that destructor operator shows up. And it's there to give you your power back. It's there to push you off that fucking cliff of maintenance and get you back on the creator operator, right? Now, resistance is going to come in this pain because it's gonna, when this call comes to change, it's going to mean a complete upheaval of the way you've currently been doing things. And it's not that, obviously, we don't want that pain, right? We want a complete upheaval. But the thing is, the mind is so used to, there's so much familiarity with the ego. It has so much shit to say, has so much narration and identification with your current state of affairs, that to go into the abyss or the unknown and completely transform the way you're acting means that it's going to lose its voice because it's not going to have a reference point. You follow what I'm saying? If we go into the unknown, if my cousin's like, hey, come over, let's go for a walk around my neighborhood, I'm not going to be able to tell him any story about neighbors, whose car that is, who's got the most money on the block, none of that shit. He is the guide. I don't have any narration to walk around that block. I have a mentor, a guide for the unknown. Now, here's the kicker. This is how it's cyclical. Is I may start going to my cousin's, or maybe I move into my cousin's house and now it's my block. And now I'm walking that block. I meet the neighbors. I see who's got the nice cars. I figure out who's got the money, who the cool neighbors are, who the fuckheads are, right? Where the hoodlums are, all this stuff. And now my ego has become identified with this new arena. And to forget that you have just crossed a threshold of this unknown is allowing the ego to develop this new state of affairs into the known and the norm. And if you're not paying attention, that blindfold will slip down over your eyes again and you'll get fucking stuck right in maintenance. And you'll think that it's a solid foundation, but it's about as solid as a lily pad is. I don't know, man. It's just, Joseph Campbell says, we must be willing to let go of the life we have planned in order to receive the life that's waiting for us. The planned life is the one that you can see taking place. And if I can see my own future, then I want a different fucking future, man. I want a different future. Because I'm not creative enough. I want the source of life to have fun with my future. That's who I want constructing my future. And I think that when I can honor the fact that there is a rhythm underneath this material world, and it's moving and shifting and pivoting for me, conspiring for me. Conspire means to secretly plan for. The universe, God himself is secretly conspiring for my life. That's who I want. That's who I want, sitting back and saying, watch me work, you know? And so once we make this decision to jump from what we've known, and that call to adventure comes in, whether through pain or grace, and we say yes, what we're going to do is we're beginning to cross a threshold. And when we cross that threshold, the threshold leads to a new world, into the unknown. And in order to traverse a new world, we need a mentor. We need someone who has been there. Because now we're leaving departure and we're going into initiation. And we think like, well, what is initiation? Think about boot camp, right? You go into boot camp, you depart from your norm. You go to Coronado if you're a SEAL, right? Maybe Virginia if you're in the Navy, which is like literally the fucking same thing. I'm an idiot, right? But there's different base camps, right? Or whatever, right? So you go there and you go into camp and it's just drill instructors are screaming in your face. You go in and they strip you of your individuality and they initiate you into a greater whole. Shave your head, take out all your piercings, cover up your tattoos, whatever the fuck it is. You are now one among many. And we're in a camp now. And we're going to work you to the fucking bone. And we're going to initiate you. I mean, this is in culture. This is this hero journey thing. It's in the spirit of all humans. Now, Joseph Campbell didn't create this. He found it. He found it in the religions. He found the story. He didn't create anything. He found it. He like cracked the code almost, right? I mean, shit, initiation is in gang culture. You got to get jumped in if you want to flag the color, you know? And so anytime we take up a new endeavor, a spiritual transformation, or a creative endeavor, or you're going to the gym and bodybuilding, like the initiation is the initial pain. It's the sore muscles. It's waking up at 4 a.m. and running a 10K with your other soldiers, right? Because they're initiating you into a new way of life. And that initiation phase is going to hurt. Why? Because you're playing in a whole new arena. You don't know what's up and what's down. All you know is that things have changed, right? So this initiation is like the belly of the beast. Jonah goes into the belly of the whale, right? And I believe the story is he tried not going west or where he was supposed to. Jonah, he got swallowed up by the whale and spit out where he was supposed to go anyways, okay? Neo, it was the same thing. His initiation, his cross of the threshold in the Matrix was, here's the red pill. Do you really want to change or do you want to go to sleep? And the thing in the Matrix is when he took the red pill, it didn't become pretty. It became rough and raw, and he saw the reality that the machines had overtaken the world and humans lived in retreat, And so the initiation, it's not often like, oh, this is going to be fucking great. I love life. Like when you get sober, man, and you get initiated, you cross that threshold, you don't feel real pretty off the bat, because we've taken away your medicine. We've taken away the thing, the drug, the drink that has allowed you to fall asleep in the normal state of pain you're living with. And so, you may be living that shit for a decade. If you're living that shit for a decade, pouring poison into you, and you stop doing that, you depart from that life, you're initiated into a new one, and we go, hey, now you're going to live this way, and you're going to do this, 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 and this. And it's going to be really uncomfortable. Why? Because we've taken your fucking solution away, man. We've taken your solution away. So in this stage of the game, in the belly of the beast, you're going to face trials. You're going to face inner demons, challenges, ego, death. You're going into the inner world. Departing from the normal is I was completely consumed with what was going on outside of me. And I would grip and cling to what the world had to show me and try to fill my life up with this, right? And just grab anything I could in this material world to distract me of this pain that's going on inside my heart. And so the initiation is we throw off the world like a loose garment and we go, no spiritual solution is going to be found out here. This is where I've been going to run from what's going on inside of me. This is why we need the mentor when we cross that threshold. Because if I knew how to just go inward and fix myself, I would have had done that when the pain was great at 19.
I was checking the specs on the end line for the rotary girder.
And who's excited about Happy Gilmore 2 coming out? I am. But me and the homie Brett were talking, and it's just like, you do a sequel like that. 20 years later, you're just going to try and do like star placement, celebrity placement. You're going to try and recreate the same scenes from the old movie. And it just fucking sucks, man. Now I'm not trying to be negative, but that's usually the case. If I got faith in anyone, it's Sandman. But, we're going to see. We're going to see, man. So initiation is the wilderness. Initiation is the desert. If Christ had to walk 40 days, 40 nights in the desert and be tempted by Satan, then you can be certain that there's going to be sand under your feet and temptation whispered in your ear. If all the gods, all the heavens, and all the hells has this story, you can be certain that you are going to face the same type of 40-day, 40-night wilderness desert experience. That's my belief. You may not get down with that, and that's fine, right? But what comes with this desert and no world to distract you is a deeper understanding of a sense of purpose, connection, awareness of self, just a lay hold of inner resources that in one way or another you had denied your own self by just giving up and sitting in the normalcy of life. I can't do that anymore, man. Like, I can't. Obviously I do, right? But like, I'm so grateful that I come out. I'm so grateful that remembering happens. I'm so grateful for the love of other men. And I'm so grateful for destruction. It's like so many of us, we're going through life and we think that we're building a castle, We really start off with good intent. And I could be thinking, man, I'm fucking laying a foundation, an unshakable foundation here. And you're just building castles in the sky, you think, right? You wake up one day and this destruction kicks down your fucking door. You look around, you're like, I've been living in a shack claiming that it's a palace. I didn't even know. There's nothing spiritual about surface positivity. The first thing you do in that situation is to accept the fact, radically accept the fact that reality has won. You thought you were building a castle and you woke up in a shack. Don't pretend that everything's okay. It's not. That's not okay. It shouldn't be fucking okay with you. And so who do we call in if there's a dilapidated building on our land? We call in the destruction crew, demolition crew, man. Motherfuckers show up, start swinging sledgehammers, front end loaders, backhoes, like heavy equipment shit. Done. We're done with it. Let it go. Let it go. Uproot the foundation, toss the stones away, and begin again because you fell asleep halfway through. Most people try to recover on their own resources and they just don't realize they're doing it. I did it for years. Our feet should be firmly planted on earth because that's where our fellows are. I experienced the breath of God in my brothers and my sisters. Sure, we have those spiritual experiences, right, where it's this one-on-one communication with God, but hell, even the radical experience I just had in Breathwork, who did he use? He used my mom. He used a person, That's the guys that I needed for him to get my attention, right? The very cave that you're so damn scared to enter holds the treasure you seek. The damn cave you're so scared to enter holds the treasure you seek. And this is the joke, this is the, comedy hour of the gods. Is like, why does it have to be right there? Because there's so much for you to discover there. But you're going to have to be strong. You're going to have courage. You're going to have willingness. And you're going to have a high pain threshold. That's one thing over the years that I feel has developed in me. Still really continuing to develop, but I've learned how to be really, really uncomfortable and still always go forward and never back. I do go back. I don't sit there. So we go through this transformation, and it's not for us. I'm not getting transformed for solely myself. Even when it's about you, it's not about you. The transformation is there so I can return back to the normal, where people are stuck in their norm, and I get to become the person that gets to love on his past self. And then you begin to see your pain in other people. And because of the love of life moving, living within you and for you, you now have what Joseph Campbell calls the elixir, or the solution, or the medicine. And you bring it back to your community. You bring it back to where the pain is. Because in this process, you have thrown off the garment of the world, and you have realized that the solution is, it was in you the whole way. There was just too much ash and rubble that was clouding it out. You just couldn't see it. And that's what the mentor is there to point out, because he or she is privy to your pain. He can see the pain that you can't see. And so he silently teaches, slowly, educational variety. He doesn't try to make you change. He offers the red pill, and he shows you the responsibility that's going to come with that red pill. Simba ran away from his kingdom, right? Rafiki showed up and showed him who he was. He reminded him of his greatness. Rafiki was Simba's expander. He showed him that his father was within him. He went back to his kingdom to slay the ultimate antagonist, his uncle Scar, who killed Mufasa, and reclaim his rightful place as king over his pride. I mean, guys, this is in every fucking story. Every story. Think about The Dark Knight, right, with Batman, with Bane. Batman gets thrown into prison where Bane was, and there's this like huge vertical cylinder with like a couple steps that no one has been able to escape from. He had to go down into the abyss with a broken back. He meets a mentor. He learns how to face his fear. He becomes Batman in the prison. He became Batman without ever putting on the gear. You follow what I'm saying? And so Bruce Wayne, right, rises up from the abyss with the elixir within himself, returns back to his community, Gotham, in order to blot out and snuff out the evil that's within it. But see, without the antagonist, Bane, breaking his back and tossing him in the prison, he would have never been able to discover his hidden inner resources. He would have never been able to discover how scared he was. He thought it was anger. It was fear and shame and guilt. He had to go inward. Falling into the prison is the inside place that we have trapped ourselves in limiting beliefs, old ideas, false pretenses, lack of it. We just get locked up. And the bitch about that is we're the one who closed the door on ourselves, closed the cage, reached our hand through and locked it, and then put it in our pocket and started screaming and beating on the cage, let me out. And we can't see our own ears on this shit. You know, we just can't clock it sometimes, man. And so no one rushes in to save you. They sit in front of you and speak truth. They don't say, hey, look in your pocket. They speak truth until the moment you feel something in your pocket. Never get in the way of anyone's karma. It is morally corrupt to rob others of their pain, especially when you know the power that pain has to transform you into the person that you always have wanted to be. So if the truth of me is knowing that hardships is the pathway to peace, then who am I to run in and try to pull others out of their hardship? We must not do that. I can offer guidance, suggestions, truth. Some may not be ready to receive that, receive the blessing, And that's okay. Like if someone doesn't get better in front of your eyes, or you want to be the mentor to somebody else, but they're not listening, it has nothing to do with you. It just means that they're not ready yet. Or you weren't the right, nut for the screw type thing. But the return is about service. It's never transform and then float away into the heavens. It's transform and go back, because there's other men and women who need this experience. They need to go into the desert. They need to get tempted. They don't know that. They don't know that. If I would suffice it to say, I would think if people knew how difficult boot camp was going to be, there wouldn't be a lot of people swearing into military service. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But there's a pain threshold there. And they want to push you, break you, bend you, and twist you and try to make you give up, because they're not going to salute a soldier that gives up. They're trying to bleed the weakness out of the greater whole. The whole purpose of the mentor, the drill instructor, is to throw you into such adversity that it carves out any type of weakness that will keep you from being the highest version of the soldier you could possibly be, because that drill instructor is only going to salute a soldier at the end of boot camp. He's not saluting anything less than that, right? I continually learn that regardless of what the adversity looks like in my life, regardless of what stage of life I'm at, early sobriety, years down the road, in a relationship, single, whatever that may be, that adversity is there to carve me into the person that I need to be for the next season of my life. If I turn my back on it, I'm really turning my back on life. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I turned my back on life for years and it nearly killed me. I don't want to be that guy anymore, But I will be that guy. If I do this shit alone and I'm not around others who are the example of leaning into the antagonist of adversity and letting it carve them up, if I stop having these type of expanders and vitalized people in my life, I will inevitably retreat back to the lowest version of myself and hide in norm. And that's just because that's just what I've learned about myself. There is this version of me, this kid that wants to lay around all day, watch movies, whatever, just fucking give up, man. Just give up. And if I want my life to expand and not contract, that means I have to open up my chest, kick down doors, and say, here I am. I need to act in opposition to what that lowest version of self would do. The hero's adventure is not a one-time event. It's cyclical in nature. You're going to go through this all the time. And allow that to be a part of your experience. Don't resist it, because the love of life is in the beauty and it's in the pain. It's in the terror and it's in the hope. It's in the pretty and it's in the ugly. And you know what? Let the full weight of all that happen to you. If you're not going to resist joy, you better not resist the pain. All of it's a part of life. If you're going to dance in the sun, you better dance when it rains. Otherwise, I'm hypocritical in nature. I want to cling to something that is only temporary. Summer is temporary, unless you live down here in South Florida with me, but yeah, man, it's all just beautiful stuff. And I think I forgot that I'm still a guy who needs guidance. You know, I think I forgot that I'm a guy who needs guidance. And I'm so glad that I've recently been shown that, you know. But with every new challenge, with every new journey you go on, it's going to require a deeper level of surrender to what is. It's going to require a deeper level of surrender to what is. And I think the more you surrender to life and you let life just be life, because number one, it was here before you and it's going to continue lifing long after you're gone. The more you can summon up the courage to surrender, to let life just be life, the more life is going to show up as a boon, a gift, a resource to catapult you into the next highest version of yourself. I don't know. I think that's just the way it is. That's the way I've been learning it is, you know. This is the data that I'm getting through, you know, research in my own life type thing. So whatever, we stay learning. And we're back on this, man. FTG's back on this. So this was episode 134. Thank you guys for listening. Please like, share, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Would love a post of a reel and tag me. All the love to you. I appreciate you listening. And here's to another episode. Peace.
What's the eternal principle?
But one.
Which is?
Well, we call it God, but that personifies it.